I better hit record on here. First things first. We've got to start somewhere. Okay. Now, we could not celebrate the second birthday of the Fitness Business Podcast without a guest appearance from none other than JT from Active Management. Welcome back to the show, JT.
Thank you, Chantal. It's a pleasure to be here.
It is great to have you back. We're very excited to be celebrating our second birthday, and you've been such a huge part of the show over the last couple of years. Are there any kind of highlights or memories for you over the last 106 shows to date?
Memories. So many. No, look, I think it's just amazing for me. I'd like to start again.
You can start again. Go for it. This is why we edit.
Oh, yeah, good. I think for me the real highlight has actually come in the last probably 3 or 4 months, where we've really seen the Fitness Business Podcast. I'd start again.
Third time's a charm.
Get fucked.
That's all right. You're a professional. Let's go.
So the highlight for me has been in the last 3 or 4 months where the Fitness Business Podcast, from the inside looking out, has really branched internationally. You know, seeing and hearing people from all over the world say that they listen to the show it's a bit of a buzz. You know, I think we started where it was just I guess it was just a thing that we ran in Australia, and I think respectfully, even you didn't even think it would get international. And now, you know, I have listeners in Germany and all over the US and UK. It's pretty cool.
Ireland. I found out this week, which is pretty cool as well.
Yeah, so that's my highlight.
Okay, that's a good highlight. So we, as you know, start now every week with our pre-call quick fire 5 questions.
Yep.
So you ready for these ones?
I sure am.
Okay, tell everyone, why do you do what you do?
Can we do that again?
Okay, from the top. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, tell everyone, why do you do what you do?
No, before that.
Oh.
Are you ready for?
Wow. You're really making me work today. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go from the top.
Yeah.
So, JT, you know we start the show now with our pre-call quick fire 5 questions. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
That's more like it. Tell everyone, why do you do what you do?
To reduce the healthcare costs in every country across the globe.
And what is the best piece of advice that you have ever received?
Look, I don't know if it's ever, but it's something that's relevant for me in my business at the moment, and that is embrace eventually in business, courtesy of J Bear.
Embrace eventually in business. I like it. And what's a personal habit that helps you become better at what you do?
Pump an iron first thing in the morning.
I concur. That's a good way to start the day. And what's one book, podcast, or blog that you would recommend, and why?
The Fitness Business Podcast.
Thank you. Right answer.
Books. Sorry, book or books?
Oh, you can go plural.
Good to Great by Jim Collins, 5 Dysfunctions of a Team by Patrick Lencioni, People by You by Jeb Blunt, Scaling Up by Vern Harnish, Start With Why by Simon Sinek.
Wow. Nice list. I like it. And what will our listeners learn when they come back and listen to next week's show?
Using a metaphor, what you do in your locker room will impact what happens on the field.
I cannot
Bit cryptic,
wait.
isn't it?
It's a little bit cryptic, but I cannot wait to hear what you've got to tell us next week.
Get your ears back next week.
JT, thank you so much for joining us for the pre-call quick fire 5, and we will see you for next week's show. Nice. Okay, let's keep rocking and rolling. So, you ready?
Yeah.
Good to go?
Yep.
Okay. FBP family, we're saying a very warm welcome once again to a regular on the show. It's JT from Active Management. Welcome, JT.
Thanks, Chantal. How you doing?
I am very, very well, thank you. And thank you for joining us for our second birthday. Celebration of our second birthday.
It's great to celebrate number 2.
It is. So,
hey, did you know
Yeah.
that the average podcast only lasts 7 shows?
Well, as a matter of fact, I did know that.
Did you know that the average podcast only lasts 3 months?
I knew that as well.
We have smashed it. Sorry, not we. You have smashed it.
We'll say we. It has been a sensational couple of years. So it is much excitement here in the FBP tribe over here at the moment. So listen, we're not here to talk about me though, or us. We're here to talk about. It's not about the FBP family today. It is about you, because tell me if I've got these statistics right. I have that in your career you've done 290 presentations.
Correct.
You've spoken to over 172,000 people in 15 countries. You run a full-time business. You facilitate the Industry Leaders Roundtable in Australia and in New Zealand. I mean, you must be the most organised person ever. Am I right?
Well, I'm a Virgo.
Yeah, so...
Virgos are supposed to be organised.
Oh, there you go. You must be. So you got to let us in on a secret. Are there any apps that you're using, or what sort of systems are you using, or rituals to keep you focused and keep you on top of managing so many different things?
Yeah, I have a wonderful VA, Alicia. Mm-hmm. She keeps me on track. But we use an app called Basecamp. I find Basecamp is just sensational. Although it does fill my inbox with stuff that I haven't done. But it's a great project management tool. I think it would be the best description. So I use Basecamp, and I use Evernote with my coaching clients. So they're my two apps that I would suggest.
Yeah. Any kind of systems or rituals that you sort of swear by? You mentioned in the pre-call Quickfire 5 about how important it is that you have a workout in the morning. Would you say that's part of your daily ritual? Yeah,
look, I train in the morning, and then generally in the mornings is when I do all my creative work, and then I'll do my operational based stuff in the afternoon.
Does that just, you find you more effective that way?
All the oxygen allegedly is going to my brain after a workout, so that should make me more creative. Right. So that's why I'll do my writing and my prep in the mornings, and in the afternoon I'll try to balance the bank account. Good
stuff. Now, last time we caught up, you and I had just come back from Ursa in the US, and this time you have pretty much literally just stepped off the plane from the UK. So tell us, what did you get up to over there?
So I spoke at two conferences, Paul Bedford's retention conference and Doug Miller's virtual roadshow. Mm-hmm. So that was a great opportunity to speak at both of those conferences and kind of get to know the UK market. I don't really know the UK market very well, so that was a really good opportunity to get in there and have a look. And of course, as you know, when I go away, I tend to visit gyms. Mm-hmm.
So you visited, what, 1, 2 gyms while you were away?
Well, I trained at, I think, 7 gyms in 6 days. No, 8 gyms in 6 days. And then I did a walking tour around London with Paul Bedford looking at gyms as well. So most people go to London and I guess check out tourist attractions. Yeah. I go to London and check out gyms.
Hey, it's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong. And tell us, with the sessions that you did, what did you present on?
So I did an onboarding session, like how to onboard members for Doug Miller, and then I did a session for Paul which revolved around, which I thought we might share today, thoughts on using a metaphor of a locker room and a sporting field. What we do in our locker room gets us ready for what happens out on the sporting field.
I reckon that sounds like a pretty perfect topic for us to cover off today. So, am I right in saying there's, how many, 7 steps to that?
The 7 C's.
Okay, do you want to start taking us through those?
Well, I guess before we do, it's important that we understand that, you know, in business, when we enter the coliseum of competitiveness, we've got one single goal, and that's to win. But in this day and age, we often have a secondary goal, which is to survive. So daily, when we go to work, we're in the heat of the battle trying to win against our opposition, whatever that definition may be, so that we can say that we won the game at the end of the day or the end of the week or the end of the month. But as you know, regardless of whatever level of sport you played, once you cross that white line and the competitive juices start pumping through your body, your eyes become fixated on the win. And so you're more focused, you're more emotional, you have greater mental arousal, and this becomes really challenging, therefore, to adjust your strategy while you're on the run. So I guess using the metaphor is before we actually get out on the field, we want to get our shit together in the locker room.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there are 7 C's. So,
Okay,
do you want
cool.
me to go through them?
Yeah, let's go through them.
Okay, so the first one is culture. And culture may well be defined or even created from the top down in the business, but it really comes to life from the bottom up. And it's your team, it's the staff that you employ that will help or hinder the success of the culture. So, it means you've got to get the right people right from the start who are going to live your culture.
Mm-hmm. So that's our first one, culture.
Culture, yep. Second one is contagious. Did you know that when you have a feeling and it goes through your whole body, that it actually projects outwards? And research indicates that people up to 3 metres away can sense your feelings.
Is that right?
Did you know that?
I didn't know that, but I'm just trying to think of who it was. I have a feeling it was either Mo Hagan or Petra Kolber, one of our former guests, talked about happiness being contagious. So I guess that's the same sort of philosophy.
That's exactly right.
Mm.
So in other words, how you feel is broadcasted to your team every minute of the day. And your great culture is built, but then maintained with the positive and contagious energy. You and your team have to have optimistic and positive energy every day in the locker room so that it goes out onto the field.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. So if we're thinking about that in terms of gym owner and the staff within the gym, it's so important that we've got that we're portraying and feeling that way so that our members are feeling that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Correct.
Cool. So culture, contagious.
Number 3 is consistent. I was told when I was learning to be a level 2 rugby coach, if you are not consistent, you will lose your trust. I'll say that again. I was told as a level 2 rugby coach, if you're not consistent, you will lose the trust your team has in...
One more time.
I was told as a level 2 rugby coach, if you are not consistent, you will lose the trust your team has in you. And when you lose the team's trust, you lose the locker room. And never a truer word has been spoken to me in my coaching career. So as the leader, the person who is running the business, you have no choice. You have to be consistent in your leadership style, your approach, your attitude, and your philosophy.
I like that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's a good one too. Okay, number 4
Yep.
is communicate. So communication is the foundation of your leadership and your team's success. We often believe that the best communicator is the most articulate or the most motivational speaker who can get the hairs on the back of your neck lifting up. That's only half the communication equation. The other half is listening. And the person who has the ability to listen, process information, and then use that to make the decisions that are in the best interests of the team is a great communicator. And that's what we need to work on.
Yeah, 100%. I think it goes hand in hand. You might remember Michelle Bowden spoke
Yep.
about how important communication, we talked about communication skills, but she really spoke about the listening side of things.
Yeah.
You've just mentioned, and that goes for whether you are the owner of the gym or you're managing the gym or you're a personal trainer within the business.
Yeah.
Having those listening skills
Spot
is
on.
absolutely so essential. Okay, so that's our first 4. What's number 5?
Number 5 is connect. Okay, so a strong communicating and collaborating team will lead to a connected team. Now, you might have the most talented PT team, the best group fitness instructors, you might have amazing gym instructors, you might have cracking salespeople, and you might have the most hospitable front desk team. But if they're not connected, you're going to lose in the game of business. When the leader and the team connect, there is absolute beauty in the commitment, the teamwork, chemistry, and performance. So what we need to remember is the connections that you create in your team today will be the bond that strengthens your team tomorrow.
So
Do you like that? That's pretty deep.
I like that. So you're talking about the connections amongst the team members and the management?
Yep.
Right.
And then your team members and your members.
And your members.
So being a connected team is really critical. And I think, in the world that we live in, technology helps us in so many ways connect with people, but that's virtual connection, and we've got to peel that back, and we've got to improve the connection of face-to-face. I read this great article that suggested that we should ban mobile phones in staff rooms, so that instead of people sitting on their phone and updating their social platforms in the staff room, they actually have to connect with the other staff members. It's a bit different.
There was the Simon Sinek, it was like a video that he posted that was all about millennials and everything, and one of the things he talked about was, 20 years ago when we went to a staff meeting, it's along the same theory, went to a staff meeting, we'd sit in there and talk to each other about how the weekend was and what we're up to, and now you walk into a staff meeting and everyone's head down just checking their phones, and there's zero communication around the boardroom table. Yeah. So, maybe it's not such a bad idea to ban.
It's a bit different.
It is a little bit different. Not everyone will agree with it. but not a bad idea. Okay, so what have we got? We've got 5?
Yep.
Okay, 2 to go.
Number 6 is commitment. So we need to spend time as leaders demonstrating our commitment to what we're trying to do in the business rather than just talking about it. As leaders, our actions speak very loudly, and your team need to see, hear and feel your commitment. When your team knows you're committed to helping them be their best, then they'll reciprocate that commitment and give their best. Many of us as leaders believe that with greater responsibility or power, that the team actually starts to serve them rather than you serving the team. You've got to help them grow. And so one of the phrases at the moment is becoming a servant leader, so that we leave a legacy with every staff member, every team member, that we've had an impact on their life and made them a better person.
Luke Carlson was the first one that I heard talk about that servant leadership sort of mentality within the business, and that's one of their, I know for Discover Strength, that's one of their business, not philosophies, it's one of their, just trying to think, their pillars that they build their business on is that servant leadership sort of philosophy. So, okay, so we've got 6 out of the 7. What's number 7?
Number 7 is care. Simple one. And the greatest organisations on the planet care. They care about what they do, what products they create, what services they deliver, and what impacts they have on their community, plus, of course, their staff or their teammates. When we have care within our DNA of our business, we will increase the probability of winning the long game. With caring in your team, they will play hard regardless of who they're playing against or the state of the business. So, we want to build care into the business. Okay, so that's all 7. Do you want to just quickly run through 1 through to 7 one more time of those C words? Seriously?
Yeah, I've written them down, so,
Okay, here we go. Culture, contagious, consistent, communicate, connect, commitment, and care.
So, JT, in your experience, if our listeners out there are thinking, okay, that's a really cool list, and maybe we are ticking 3 out of the 7, maybe we're achieving 5 out of the 7, what advice would you give to them about steps to start to take to make sure that they can tick off all of those boxes within their business?
I would love to tell you the answer to that, but you're going to have to come back to FitBizspiration tip.
Okay, well, we can do that. We can move back on.
But what I do want to do is, what I do want to finish with is this, and there are 2 words that characterise teams who are always improving and leaders who are having their team always improve. And those 2 words are that your team is humble and that they're hungry. Always hungry for future success and always humble about what they've achieved.
I love both of those words. They're so important.
They're good words,
yeah, they're really good words. Okay, so 7 C's.
The 7 C's.
And 2 H's.
And 2 H's. I hadn't thought about that.
We've just changed the presentation.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, so you mentioned it already. You stole my thunder. FitBizspiration.
Yes.
Okay, give us your FitBizspiration. So what I was hoping you'd share with us is some tips for fitness business owners and managers to really look at growing and succeeding in their business over the next 12 months. And maybe you can weave that into my former question about what they can do with those 7 C's.
Sure. So my first bit of FitBizspiration is this. Once we're playing the game of fitness, it's too late to improve. It's near impossible to coach or upskill a team member without losing momentum in the business. You've got to get your locker room right and your team will then perform on the field. So that's number 1. Number 2 is that I would use or suggest you use a 90-day plan when implementing a new strategy. So in the first 30 days, you collaborate with your team to design the strategy. Now that might take 10 days, 15 days, but you give yourself a limit of 30 days to collaborate to design the strategy. And then days 31 through to days 90, you implement your strategy and you run this new strategy. Days 76 to 90, in other words, the last 2 weeks, you evaluate your strategy before cementing that strategy into your business. There's my tips. Yep. Does that answer your question?
It does answer my question.
Good one.
Hey, JT.
My third one.
Yeah.
You were about to move on.
No, but it was in relation to that question.
Oh, okay.
Is that all right? So we've got, you talk about a 90-day strategy. How long would that generally last for? Is that a 12-month strategy and then you revisit that in 12 months' time, would you say? Or is that a 3-year strategy? Or
Look, that's a good question. I think in business, the people that get bored with strategy the first are the owners and the managers, even the team. If a strategy's working, why change it? You know, for me, you consistently reevaluate your strategy or self-evaluate your strategies on a monthly or quarterly basis, and if it still works, don't change it. Just
so I
keep going.
guess that is the key, and that is the reevaluate on a consistent basis. Because
Correct.
if we do the strategy for, we do a 90-day strategy, and we come out of that 90 days and we don't look at it again for 12 months, then we're in trouble.
Absolutely.
So we need to make sure that consistency is the key, and we're going back and just rechecking. And I think probably thinking about how the market around us changes in that time as well is really important to take into consideration.
100%.
Okay, tip number 3.
You don't have to get the strategy perfect. You just got to get it going.
Applies to everything, doesn't it?
Well, I think we strive for perfection, and if we strive for perfection, then we never implement.
Yep.
So you don't have to get the strategy perfect. You just got to get it going.
They are great takeaways, JT. Well, thank you so much for joining us for our 2nd birthday month.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
very
you
exciting.
very much. Yeah, we're pretty excited here. So it's great to have you back on the show. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent. Okay, do you want to record a happy birthday message?
Yeah, what are people saying?
No, you've got to make yours up.
Oh.
You don't get a script. I just want it from the heart.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready.
Hey, it's JT here from Active Management, and it's an absolute honour. No, it's not an honour. Hey, it's JT here from Active Management. I've been a guest on the Fitness Business Podcast several times. You can do that when you're the major sponsor, I guess. But I would love to say congratulations on hitting the 2-year mark to the Fitness Business Podcast. Chantal and all the team, you do an amazing job. It truly is an international podcast. And congratulations on your 2nd birthday. And I look forward to hearing more about how to improve our fitness. No, that sucks.
So close. That was so close.
Hey, it's JT here from Active Management, and I've been lucky enough to be a guest on the Fitness Business Podcast several times over the last 2 years. So yeah, it's happy birthday to you, Chantal, on the Fitness Business Podcast. 2 years. That makes you about 1 year and 9 months longer than the average podcast. So congratulations. That's amazing. It truly is an international show. You have some amazing guests, and you are doing a fantastic job as the host. Congratulations, Fitness Business Podcast, on your 2nd birthday.
Perfect. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Excellent. That's a wrap. We're done. We are all done. Happy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Done deal. Okay, that's good. We'll stop recording.
We're done. We're out of here.
24 minutes. That's good.